physical sensation of dropping into my body, like almost like I respawned in a video game.
Ooh, aloha. So if you are wondering what is going on inside of this video, I keep on getting sent this video many, many times, explaining that what does it feel like? What does it mean? What is it translated into when someone feels like they're being dropped into their body, having experienced something, but all of a sudden almost re-experiencing it again? What is going on in that moment? Is it deja vu? I have experienced this sometime or in some place before, or is it some form of deja vu, which is, have I experienced this in some form of a dream state? I am more than likely being sent this video because of the way that I see and perceive the world, the way that I quantify the way that I see through frequency, through dimensional form, and the way that I can validate that with doctors and scientists. Now, we are not in a session right now, but here's what I'm going to make an assumption. Maybe if we were in session, we could figure this out. What it sounds like you are describing is someone who has just dropped into a perception of multiverse languages, or dropped into a perception of what would be multiverse timeline shifting or timeline jumping. For me, as a high seer, when I'm communicating to someone and I can see the outline of what is going to happen to them, it looks like a variation of you now and a variation of you doing something else. And they are both happening at the same time. And when I direct you towards what is happening over here, and if we lean into this, I have never been incorrect. It's what I see, it manifests for you. The only way that we can make what I see coming up for you in some form of a trajectory of a timeline is if we say, well, I don't like that, so let's shift all of our outcomes to lead us into this timeline, and then that one comes true. But when you are seeing and perceiving things for the self, it feels like you float away and then come dropping back into your reality. And this is actually going to happen more often than you realize. Most people experience this, but not in their everyday awake state, which is why we assume that it's mostly about the dream world. But if you are perceiving that in that everyday awakened state, congratulations. Congratulations, welcome to a timeline jump. That's what it looks like, and that's what it feels like. There are lots of techniques. If this is something that is fearful for you, there are lots of techniques, and I'd be happy to teach you about how to remain safe when this is being experienced. There are lots of techniques that you can do, so that way you feel safe and protected inside of this body, because if it happens again, and you feel like you're untethering and floating away while still being here, then come dropping back into your body, we can teach you different things to do, so that way that doesn't happen, at least without that kind of severity. But can I give you any nuggets before I let you go? Yes. This is not scary. This is not the most scary, terrible thing that has ever happened to you. It is not something that you have any need to be afraid of again. The moment you say that, your experiences are going to now say to the brain, well, if I do that again, it must come into the form of some kind of fear aspect. And I simply don't want you to do that, because then your body will perceive something that actually hurts a little bit, or actually does not feel so good. And not that I would want you to float away into the ethos and then come, screaming back into your body, but I do want you to be able to handle that in a way that is coherent. And once again, there are lots of different techniques, little tricks that I can teach you, so that way it doesn't feel so scary.